Hi there and welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm IceMan and today we are going to be answering the most asked question in the game probably. So what is that question? It's simple. Who to 6-star first and next? If you look on any of the forums, if you look on any of the Facebook pages, this is the question that I see asked again and again. So today I'm going to put forward my opinion on where you should be going with this. So, where should we start? Like any story, like anywhere, we'll start at the beginning. So you've picked your starter champion, you've gone for one of the 4 available, and quite frankly, they're the best person to start with. So, if you've done a bit of research, you may have gone the right way and gone with Carrie, who is, in my opinion, the best starter champion. The reason for this is he brings AoE damage, just like all the other starter champions. The other 3 do it too. In my opinion, he does it slightly better, but the other thing he brings that they don't is poison. Why is poison so important? Well, poison will help you in the clan boss immensely. It is one of the main debuffs you want on the clan boss, and it will help you in dungeons like the Dragon's Lair. Again, poison is immensely helpful there. Now on my account, the starter champions weren't actually my first level 60, but then on my account I managed to start around the time Amazon were doing a giveaway thing whereby you got some champions and some other bits and bobs through if you were an Amazon Prime subscriber. I came in quite late on it, so my first epic, and I got a right at the start, was Valor. So brilliant champ, does a lot of damage, can really support herself. It may have been an error in hindsight to go with her, but she ended up being my first campaign farmer. She was my first 60. As you can see, my Carrie here is still only 50. That's the route I went. So who should you be doing? So like we just said, your first 60 should really be your campaign farmer. Your campaign farmer should ideally be, unless you get really lucky early on or you're a whale and you've just bought loads of shards straight out the gate, done a load of pulls, got yourself some champions. Well, assume you're not in that boat. Your first campaign farmer should be whoever you picked at the start of the game. Hands down. Once they're 60, they can then help you farm your other 4 champions that you want up to 60, and that should be your first aim, is to get 5 champions to level 60. Then you've got we're looking at a core balanced group here that will help you be your arena team. Obviously that's only 4 people, not 5, but you know, your clan boss team, your dungeon teams. Everything you need will be this team initially. So what do you need out of that? You need decreased defense. Decreased defense is hands down one of the most important debuffs to have in the game. And lo and behold, luckily, there's an absolutely amazing champion who does this that you can get for free. Yeah, you're right, I said it, for free in this game as you're leveling up. And you can book her for free and get her as high as you need her and get all her skills done. It takes a little time, it takes a little energy, but it can still be done for free. And that is, if we go into the campaign here, and right up to stage 9 I believe it is. Here we are, stage 9, the Deadlands. Maiden. Maiden is a Force Affinity champion, rare, from the barbarian tribes, and she brings increased attack on herself, poison. It's only the small poison, and it's only 30% chance, but she still brings a small poison which can again help on dragon and can help on clan boss. But most importantly, you can book this down to a 3-turn cooldown. She brings decreased defense. She even has 100% chance of landing it. You need to build her accuracy out, because if her accuracy isn't high enough, she will not land it. But if you book this out, and as I say, because she's farmable, you farm your first one, you can then farm more iterations of her that can be fed into her for books, and you can get this down to 3 turns and 100% chance of placing it. So she is an absolutely amazing option for one of your first 6 stars. I don't, because I'm a dirty pay to win player, and also I didn't have the knowledge of the game that I do now back then, so I went a slightly different route. Next up, a good option for you is also a barbarian. Now obviously this is not set in stone, but these are the sorts of abilities you want to be looking for in your first core 5 team. You want good strong AoE attack, you want poisons, you want decreased defense, and if we get off of this, come down here to the index. Where is she? There we go, High Cartoon. She is a daily login reward. I can't remember how many days you have to play. I think it might be 30 or so. But after playing for a short while, you will get this champion. She brings an increased ally speed in all battles by 19%. That is huge. That will help you in every area of the game to run faster. She also brings a turn meter fill on all allies by 15% and a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. This can be booked down to 3 turns on the cooldown. She's also got an attacks all enemies AoE ability, has a 50% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 15%. You can actually bring the chance up to 75%. You can get the cooldown down to 4. Absolutely brilliant champ for help keeping you move fast, reducing the enemy's turn meter, increasing your turn meter. All in all, a brilliant champ for that sort of thing. And again, you get her for free, so well worth taking up to 50 or 60 right at the start of the game. The next thing you want, if you can get it, but this is a bit harder, is decrease attack. Now, decrease attack is invaluable in the clan boss, where it's hugely important, and I believe we might be in the right place. An early option for you if you manage to pull him. There are other champions that do it, and you can go on websites like Ayumi Love and type in decrease attack, and it will show you a whole host of champions. Some of them are good at it, some of them are bad at it, some of them only do that or this, or they don't have a very high chance. That's where decrease attack is quite difficult, and this is one of the earlier better options for it. He has attacks one enemy 3 times, so 3 times. Each hit has a 15% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack buff. The buff chance can be increased by another 15% when you book him out, so obviously that's up to 30% chance on each hit. It's not the best going, there are better champions who do it, but at an early stage, if you, and because he's rare, he's a little bit easier to pull than many epics and whatnot. He is a brilliant champion to take up to that level. So at this stage, you've got your farmer, you've got your decrease attack on an AoE, you've got your speed booster. They're 3 of your champions. If you can get it, and I'm not saying you will be able to, but if you can get it, you want your decrease attack, which will help immensely in clan boss and will still help you in dungeons. Then you need a really good support champion, or the best support champion you have available. Now, this one's a little subjective. There are many different support champions in the game. Let's see if we can find one. Spirit Host comes to mind straight off. She's not a bad champion. She's free, she's farmable. Can't remember which one she's in. Oh, actually, it is a good option for you straight off the bat. Spirit Host is fairly decent. She brings block debuffs, which is quite cool, and she has a cleanse. Valerie here is farmable from the very first stage, so that makes it one of the easiest for you to do. And her abilities are nothing special on first glance. Damage is based off of attack. She has an increased attack on all allies, which is really handy. But the main one I'm on about here is she places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of this shield depends on this champion's level, and she heals each ally according to the number of buffs they are currently under. So if you've got a team that's putting up all these buffs, increased attack, shields, all the rest of it, she's then going to heal them by more as well. So somebody like that, not necessarily her, but she is a good free option for you to start with. So that's your first 5. You've got your first 5 up to 60. You've got a core team that are strong, well balanced, doing the job. You're hitting clan boss, you're hitting the arena, and you do want to be trying to hit all these areas as soon as you can. You get rewards from the clan boss on a daily basis that are going to help make your champion stronger. You do the arena, and you're going to build your great hall, which is going to make all of your champions stronger. So as you progress through the game, who do you 6-star next? We've talked about the first people to 6-star. After that, your next choice is a little bit more subjective and a little bit harder to answer, to be honest. For this one, it depends on you. It depends on your account. It depends on the champions you've been pulling. It depends on the areas you're weak in the game. For instance, I would say if you pull a really good decreased attack champion that's better than the one you've currently got, if you've even got one, that's one you want to concentrate on quite highly. I do not believe mine's here actually. I think she's in the vault. I had Padma. She was a very good champion. I had her really early on. I took her to 60. The best way to look at it is this: you still want the champions that for the most part do the things we talked about at the start. Madame Ceres is a great example. She's a void champion, obviously. There we go. So Madame Ceres here, you know, she does AoE buff strip. She also does decreased attack and decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. 4-turn cooldown, sorry, now, since they upped that, which was a bit of a shame, but you know, she was a bit broken for an epic as it was. On a 4-turn cooldown, that means that she can't really be your only decreased attack champion in the clan boss unless you get her running really, really fast and you get somebody who increases buffs very reliably. But you know, she is still a brilliant champion for it. She's a good upgrade to War Maiden, and she's somebody that if I got straight away you take up to 60. Miscreated Monster, again a great example. He's a brilliant Carrie. So if you pull somebody like him, is he in here? I should know where he is. Night Revenant, I believe, actually. Yeah, Night Revenant. So you pull somebody like him, he brings massive shields, he brings stuns on an AoE. You put him in a stun set and he'll be a stun monster for you, as well as putting out massive shields. So this guy is absolutely amazing for the spider, but he's also amazing for just about anywhere else. And that is really how you want to be thinking about who do you 6-star next. You've already got a decent core 5 if you followed the steps I laid out at the start of this video that cover most of the areas you want, and they'll be used fairly reliably on the earliest dungeons, on the earliest potion keeps, early on in the arena, and in an early clan boss. As you progress, you want to be picking people that do the job that they do better. There are other areas to branch out in, and that's as you go up. So somebody like Miscreated Monster, he will be used absolutely everywhere for you. You can use him in the arena, you can use him in the clan boss, you can use him in dungeons, you name it, he can be used there, and he's an end-game viable player. So that's the next thing you look at. You don't necessarily need to look at, are they end-game viable early on. You need to look at, do they do the job better than anyone else you have for your account? Do you have somebody else on your account that can do that job who is better at it than the person you're looking at? If they do, and they're more end-game viable, then they're the one you should be taking up. Miscreated Monster's a good example of that. You know, if you had another champion that puts out shields, he does it better, and he brings stuns, and so he's the one you want to take up to 60. What you want to be looking at is, do they fill a role that you need, and are they end-game viable? They don't necessarily have to be end-game viable if you don't have champions that are end-game viable. If you have somebody that does what Miscreated Monster does better than somebody who was in your starting 5, but is not end-game viable, and you don't have somebody who can be end-game viable, doesn't mean you don't level them up. It's always worth improving as you go along, because again, bigger AoE damage will help you out in Spider on the early stages, so you bring in some champions that do that, great. He's actually quite handy for that because he does some good AoE damage as well as being a support. Somebody like Bellower, for instance, you get him from a Void Shard, you pull him, you bring him in, he's going to do a lot of AoE damage, so he's going to be really helpful for you early on, and possibly even to a degree later on. He can actually be a reliable campaign farmer, fast. Miscreated Monster can help you actually do a Nightmare campaign even, so you know, what you want to be looking at are these different variables, and that's why I say it's subjective, and it's not easy for anybody to answer by any stretch of the imagination. But you need to be looking at initially those core positions. Can they improve on what they do? Then they're a good person to take to 60. After that, you start to look at more specialized areas. What I mean by this is you look at things like clan boss. Do you have your decreased attack? That's one you try to do as early as you can anyway, but if you have a better one, again, you replace it. Can they fulfill Spider or Fire Knight? Fire Knight and Spider have very specific requirements to them. Initially with Spider you can get away with masses of AoE. Later on, as you progress, you're going to want turn meter depletion, stuns, people to control the Spider and the Spiderlings while doing the damage. So that's the area you look at, and quite often the handy thing about this is a lot of champions like Coldheart, for instance, who is one of the best to get in the game, and she's only a rare. She can do both Fire Knight and Spider absolutely amazingly. She brings 100% turn meter depletion, or full turn meter depletion, whichever it is. She does masses of damage. That damage improves as she goes on late in game. So if you pull her early on, she's actually not as beneficial as you'd think. I mean, don't get me wrong, you give her the accuracy, she is great for helping with the turn meter. She can even do a fair amount of AoE damage on one of her abilities, so she can help with that as well. But she improves as the game goes along, where the enemy max HP comes more into play. But that's what I mean. So you find champions that manipulate turn meter, they'll be good for you in Spider, they'll be good for you in Fire Knight. And you look at the ones that are going to be more likely to be viable in game. If you've got two champions that do more or less the same thing, let's say you need a Spider champ, so you're looking at Spider champs. You want somebody who does turn meter, you want somebody who does lots of damage. So if you have two champions, you look at which one is going to be in-game viable. How do you know that? Well, you know, go online, look it up, go onto YouTube. There's lots of guides out there on a lot of these champions, and that will give you a better clue on which one of the two you want to be taking up. If you're in a situation whereby you've got a whole bunch of these champions and you want to know which one is the best one for you to take up, it's subjective. Which area do you need to progress in most? Are you looking most at the arena? Are you looking most at clan boss? Are you looking most at Fire Knight? Are you looking most at Spider? What is the area you're trying to progress in? If it's all of the above and you've got champions that do all of the above, it doesn't really matter so much. You pick whichever you want really that does the role. If, on the other hand, you're looking specifically for somebody who will help you in a certain area, that's the person you take up next. The others you can take up to 60 later, if they're still going to be in-game viable and if they're going to help you in other areas of the game. Now that's the next thing you need to look at, is where can these champions help me? Some champions are very specifically champions for only one area in the game. The best champions to take up to 60 are the ones that are in-game viable and will help you in multiple areas of the game. So you can use them in a... Miscreated here, he is a brilliant example of that. He can do the clan boss to a degree. He's not somebody I would use in endgame clan boss, but on earlier clan boss he will certainly help you out. If you want, he does damage for you in the arena. He's great as an arena defense champion. He can be used in Spider. So he's a great example of the type of champion you put ahead of anybody else because he's endgame viable and he can help you in multiple areas. So that's the first thing to look at, is if you've got two champions that will fill a role, the one you prioritise is the one that will help you in more roles. Don't forget there's also Faction Wars, don't forget we've got Doom Tower coming out very soon. So there's all these different areas to look at, and you want to look at the ones that will help you in most areas, and they're the ones to prioritise. In a nutshell, that's how you do it. You know, you look at, do you want to do this area or that area? Are they going to help you in most areas? And that's who you go and build. It's as simple as that. It sounds complicated, and it is, but it's a decision you need to make based off of what you have and what you want to be doing in the game. Anyway, I hope this really helps you. I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. We've covered where to start, we've covered how to then progress on that, and summon a few of the champions that can really help with that, and we've covered the best way to plan it out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you get a lot of use out of this video and I helped you out. If you liked the video, if you watched here till the end, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button to get notified for future content, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.